The Veterans League is wrapping up its third elective conference today. Zamokuhle was elected unopposed as the league's president. He's added his voice to that of Mbandlwa, saying that the ANC should target to win the 2024 elections without going into a coalition with other parties. Let's now bring in political analyst Zamokuhle Mbandlwa. Thank you very much, Mr. Mbandlwa, for your time here on eNCA. Just first of all, with regards to those who have been elected as the leadership of the Veterans League, at least we've got somebody like Mavuso Msimang, who is a very celebrated former DG of Home Affairs. He's got a good track record, and maybe, you know, if they do use the powers that they have, they'll be able to steer the ANC in the right direction.
Good morning, Maseko, and also good morning to the viewers at home. Well, I beg to differ with your statement, because the ANC at the moment need people that will actually put it into track if they are not doing right. And I think the role of the Veterans League is not only to guide the ANC in government, but also in the ANC politics. Well, when we speak about someone who is a veteran, you refer to that particular person who have been tried and tested, who understand all the ins and outs, the challenges that have been faced by the organization and by the government. So you will expect that people that are acting as veterans of the ANC are people that are able to advise the ANC in government. So those people should be people that have been very instrumental in various government positions, not only in one department, but in various government departments, and also in various positions in the ANC itself. Now, there is a contradiction between the requirement of the objective of the ANC Veterans League and also the requirement for a person to become a member and to lead the ANC Veterans League. Now, the requirement is for a person to be a member consistently for 40 years and be above 60 years of age. On the other hand, the objective of the Veterans League is to assist the ANC, guide the ANC, and also to assist and contribute in the building of the nation, which is South Africa. Now, in this case, if you have people who have been very centered in one department and never led in various positions in the NEC level, then it means that that person cannot be holistically contribute to the life of the ANC and to the life of the country. Now, that's how we should define the Veterans League, someone who have been tried and tested, not someone who is expert in one area, because the country is very big.
And it's vast. So, Mr. Mbandlwa, you know, looking at your Zamokuhle, for instance, he was elected unopposed, basically re-elected as the leader of the Veterans League. Do you think he ever did a good job, you know, during his previous tenure, that we can see any difference now?
Yeah, you are raising a very important question here, because I think the problems of the ANC now is that they want people who are praising us, not people who are criticizing the leadership of the ANC and the leadership of the ANC in government. So that's where the problem is. Once you have people, once you are surrounded by people who are praising you all the time, who are always saying you are doing the right thing, even if you are wrong, then you will not learn as a leader. And I think that is the problem of the ANC. They want all the leagues that agree with what they are doing or what they are saying as the leadership of the ANC, which then become very problematic, because they will not grow, they will not learn from the mistakes. And again, I think that is where the problem is. But I would also want to agree with the current president of the ANC Veterans League, where he said the ANC, in approaching the 2024 government elections, must not keep in mind that they are willing to be in coalition with any party. In fact, what he's saying is actually going to help the ANC, because he's saying the ANC must go back to the ground and look at where the mistakes are, not to rush to be in coalition government with whoever that will be the majority next year in the government elections. Well, what they are saying is the ANC must also be responsible for the lifestyle audit. So, because it could be true that the ANC, as the ruling party in government, in various government levels, have done very well, but the problem could be that the lifestyle of those who are in the leadership positions have actually caused problems for the people on the ground. So what they are saying is that the ANC must target the upright majority in the government elections next year, and not keeping in mind that they might lose elections. On the other hand, the ANC is actually approaching the government elections of next year on a different tune. It's an admission of defeat from the word go, because if you say you are approaching government elections and at the back of your mind, you are already thinking about the collision. It means that you are not sure, you are not confident enough about the elections.
I'll come back, Mr. Mbandlwa, to the elections because I want to ask you a question with regards to that. I just want to ask you about the powers, really, that the Veterans League has. I mean, I remember a time when Ahmed Kathrada wrote a letter to the former President Jacob Zuma at some point, asking him to, tap into his conscience and step down during the height of the state capture allegations against him. There's been a letter recently that was written by another veteran in the ANC in the form of Thabo Mbeki, asking that, the ANC deals with the Phala issue and, voicing out that there's things that he doesn't agree with when it comes to the ANC. But the mother body doesn't seem to really be listening to its veterans. Instead, I know challenges are okay, but they have public spats usually.
Yeah, you are asking a very important question because, when you are raising a point as an individual, it's not the same as the point is being raised by a structure or a particular organization or a particular league within the ANC movement. Now, when all those individuals, the two individuals that you spoke about, or the foundation and the former president, they were raising their points as personal points, not coming from a structure. Now, when there is an issue that is being raised by the ANC Veterans League or any league of the ANC or even the Tripartite Alliance partners, then that particular point is not coming from an individual, but it's coming from a structure.
Yeah.
Now, if, let's say, for example, the former president, Thabo Mbeki, was leading the ANC Veterans League and he raised those points, then the ANC was compelled to actually consider those points and also provide a response in writing to the organization. Now, at this point, the ANC do not have any obligation to respond to a personal opinion of a former leader of the ANC or of anyone from the society, because they are not representing anyone. They don't have any constituency. They are raising points on their own personal capacity. So it becomes very difficult for the ANC to entertain personal views of any situation.
Now, coming to the conferences that have taken place in the different leagues of the ANC, we know the Youth League for the first time in 8 years was able to actually hold a conference and elect new leadership, etc. With all of these leagues finishing their conference and having leaders, is that anything good for the party or the President Cyril Ramaphosa himself? Because, obviously their job would be to make sure that the ANC looks good to the public and to the electorate as we go to the elections.
Yes, at the beginning, when the ANC Youth League started to prepare for the conference, I said this is a very good gesture for the ANC because they will have a full support of the various leagues, which also includes the MDM structures that are also expected to have their conferences this year. So I thought maybe the ANC is going to wake up, because if their leagues and their partners are actually having a good proper structure that has been elected by the people, then it will be very easy for them to stand up and pull up their socks. But the problem now also is that when the ANC want to have people that agree with them all the time, then there will be a problem, because people should be able to distinguish between the statements that are being made by the ANC NEC and the statement that is being made by the ANC Youth League NEC, and a statement that is made by the ANC Women's League at a national level as well. Now, when the statements are the same, it becomes very problematic, because all these leagues are representing different stakeholders in the society, and they should be very vocal in addressing those issues of various stakeholders. But at the moment, we don't see that happening, which then becomes very, very problematic.
Mr. Mbandlwa, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Political analyst Zamokuhle Mbandlwa.